very warm welcome to part 2 of the GG Gaming Cape Met preview, where, of course, in the first episode, we had an opportunity to speak to both Candice Bass-Robinson and Justin Snaith, and they have some massive entries in the 3 key Grade 1 races, being the Cape Flying Championship, the Mallorca Stakes, and the Cape Met. In part 2, which is recorded at the Sabi Sun Resort, behind me, of course, is a massive crocodile, which is obviously of no use whatsoever to man or beast as far as finding winners are concerned. But I just thought I'd let you know that GG Gaming extends way beyond the shores of Cape Town, all the way up to Mpumalanga. So we're going to have an opportunity now to speak to a man who has won the Met on 3 separate occasions, a guy by the name of Vaughan Marshall, a veteran of the Met when he won with La Fabulous, Hill 54, and last year with a horse called One World. He has a very handsome son of Silvano, which has snuck a little bit under the radar, but we have good reason to believe that he has more than a fighting chance in this year's Cape Met. We're also going to have the opportunity to speak to Eric Sands, who's got the half brothers, Golden Ducat and Rainbow Bridge, who of course has won the Met 2 years back and was second last year with Ryan Moore aboard. We're also going to chat to Adam Marcus, who's got a very interesting runner in the Met, the only 3-year-old filly in the race. We're going to chat to a guy by the name of Greg Enion. We're going to speak to Greg Sheen. We're also going to speak to Sean Tarry, who's the champion trainer. And lastly, but by no means least, we're going to have a chat to Glenn Cotson. And so without any further ado, we hope that you enjoy part 2 of the GG Gaming Cape Met preview for 2021.
He's had a bit of a troubled prep in that he was off for 10 months with an injury, but he's come back nicely and he's well on his way again. And you know, if he hadn't had that break, his rating would be far higher than it is now. But we'll take our chances. You know, he's only had a couple of starts as a 4-year-old, and he's won one and ran second in the other. So things are coming along the right way for him. And we ran a very good race in the Queen's Plate if you analyse the races it was run. I don't think you must discount him. I know that there are a lot of big guns in the race, but we'll be right there.
He's an honest horse. He's always in the fire. I don't think he's ever been beaten by more than 2.5 lengths in his life, so he's bound to be there. From the point of view of well-being, I just think he's come together at the right time. He's spot on. Golden Ducat is just I'm going to say it's a good horse. He's still underrated. He's a top horse. Never mind the winning margin, the way he fought back. Never mind the time before his first run back with a 3-year-old beating. He's also quirky. He's put a hole in somebody's head and he's bitten somebody's hand, but when Jessica brought Sophia around to see him, Jessica's baby, he couldn't leave her alone. He just, wherever she went, he wanted to follow her.
You've made reference to the fact that he has placed on 2 separate occasions over 1,800 meters at Greyville in the Champions Cup at the end of the season. You said that he was probably finding 1,400 a little bit sharp. What did you make of his Lormorans Queen's Plate performance?
It's very hard for me to make anything of it, Andrew, when the race is run a second and a half slower than the green point. Take nothing away from the winner. He did all he had to do, and I think a top ride from Grant van Niekerk, who summed the pace up very early, pounced quickly and set sail for home, and that's what won him the race. You know, that's what happens when you awake to pace and you can turn it on. If you've got a horse that's got to turn a foot, then that's ideal, isn't it?
It certainly is. And, you know, there was always a lot of talk before the race itself that the 3-year-olds were outstanding. Jet Dark obviously did what nobody had done, you know, prior to Gimme the Green Light, and Variety Club, who were exceptional 3-year-olds of their generation. It doesn't make Jet Dark exceptional yet, but it makes him very, very good.
You have to be very good to win the Queen's Plate as a 3-year-old. That's why I said take nothing away from the winner. But wouldn't it have been great to have seen a true run race and let the 3-year-old win the race that's in a true run race? Then that would have been full of merit. But he did all he had to do. You can take nothing away from him. Bottom line is, I felt that his first run in Cape Town was exceptional. And given the fact that he was a kilo worse off and the pace was very slow in the Queen's Plate, there's nothing untoward with his prep or the way that I saw his performance. If you look at his best runs all come from fast times. He's not a horse that canters and quickens in front. He's a horse that when he's gone the mile, obviously we're talking about, his best runs have come from fast run races. And even in a race like the Champions Cup, where he's run third twice, he got much closer when it was a true run race. He's got to be showing signs of stamina, and a horse that wants a proper gallop as opposed to a canter sprint. To me, he's showing that he's got more stamina than speed.
That opens up a very, very important question. With the field being cut down to 11 for obvious reasons, as Justin explained to us yesterday at Kenilworth, and why a lot of horses that could have run haven't run because of the rule that will penalize them and maybe take care of their Natal season. That's his view. But the point is, who is going to make the pace? Is it going to be Running Brave that goes up handy? Do you really see anything else that is a likely pacemaker in this race?
Okay, so just to agree with Justin in his first assessment in terms of handicapping, I don't blame him for sitting out with some of these horses that he wants to run in the July, because we've seen throughout the season that a horse can run 10 lengths off or 5 lengths off unplaced and come out with a ridiculous rating. So I think he summed that up. I think the smaller fields and feature races is going to be the new norm, just based on handicapping alone. Yeah, I have to agree with him and his assessment over there. When we talk about pace, there's a good chance Running Brave may lead. I mean, I'm sure she's not going to make it for everybody else, but going 2,000 for the first time, I'm certainly not looking to make the pace for everybody else.
Yeah, and I suppose when you look at it, the interesting aspect of Running Brave's participation is that we will get a measure of understanding as to how good Summer Pudding is without being there, because I think we're all prepared to write her race off in the Paddock Stakes. I mean, it's just not a true reflection of her ability, but it's nice to have Running Brave in the race because she is as dogged and as determined as you can get a filly mare to be.
Yes, having said that, Andrew, you can only make that assessment provided she runs a good race. She's
Correct.
So honest that if she had to run a good race, you could then draw that sort of line of form or assessment. But it's not an easy trip to make to Cape Town, and she's as honest as they come. And if she does bring her A game, then you certainly would be right.
So that basically leaves us with the Sands pair of Golden Ducat or Ducat, however you'd like to pronounce it, and Rainbow Bridge, who are known for racing close to the pace. It's their own backyard. They've both had outstanding preps, and it's in all probability that you might be able to get a little bit of cover from all of Running Brave, Rainbow Bridge, and Golden Ducat.
Yeah, listen, from where we're drawn second widest. Gavin has to just take his chances, and especially once we were there for the Queen's Plate, and that went pear-shaped. Basically, the race is in Gavin's hands. He must do what he feels best and ride the horse as the race unfolds. As I said, the twice that he's been 1800, he didn't lead. He sat, I think, second, third both times. The draw's not going to allow him to sit in the box seat this time. So, I'll just leave it in Gavin's hands.
Physically, has he continued to show this penchant for the Cape that he's always done?
Yeah, he's in good order, Andrew. He's fit and well, he's thriving in Cape Town, and I don't have any excuses as far as that's concerned.
Bottom line, he's a legitimate contender.
Yeah, well, if he isn't legitimate, then there aren't too many legitimate horses around these days.
Okay, Let's move to your flying filly in the flying championship. They say that there are lies, there are damned lies, and there are statistics. And I noticed that in her whole career, she's actually only won one race over 1,000 meters, and that was in her penultimate start, which tickled you pink. You were absolutely over the moon with that performance. And, you know, the way she won her last start in the Scepter on the Lomrance Queen's Plate weekend was just nothing short of spectacular.
She's one that I've said all year through that she thrives in Cape Town and really didn't do well in Durban at all. And I always felt that, you know, having still won a Group 1 in Durban, and I wasn't really happy with her, that thriving in Cape Town, you know, she would be a tough competitor for anybody to face.
You know, I'm so pleased you said that, because I love trawling the internet and looking for evidence and what have you. And I saw a picture of her winning at Scottsville. And even though she won, you know, the year before, where she showed so much resolution and courage, you could see her coat wasn't right. I mean, it's the middle of winter in Durban. It's not all that cold, but she didn't look a shadow of what we saw at Kenilworth on the Friday before the Queen's Plate.
And you remember, Andrew, these Group 1 horses, you plan their program and their routine a long way out. And I'm not making excuses. I'm the conditioner, and I should have a right at any given time that we step into the starting stalls. But with lockdown having started, we didn't know when we were going to race, what the dates actually were. I had already maybe far too early in the season to when we eventually raced. And, you know, she didn't enjoy that.
Okay, well, suffice to say that she is up against the boys. She's taken them on before. She's up against a very, very high-class field. But there's no doubt in my mind that if she continues to show the well-being that she showed on Friday, that she has to be the one to beat.
It's hard to say the one to beat because of the distance. Had this been a 1,200, I'd say you are quite right. But it is 1,000, and you know, healthy respect for you know, the key protagonists, Run Fox Run, Russet Air, and obviously the top horse of Justin's. I mean, he's done absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah, even though, you know, obviously Casimir is a horse that's probably slightly better over 6, but his stable companion, the other one, Eric the Red, he's going to stud. They want to finish on a high note, and there's talk that he's the right one.
You have to be good. He's going to have to be very good.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's what it's about. It's about putting your toe in the water. If you don't put it in the water, you ain't going to get wet. But let's move to Bowie, because he rounds off your day in the 12th. There's no sneaking off early after the Met. Not that there'll be too many people to celebrate with, but the check will be in the bank, hopefully. And he's a horse that has his second run in Cape Town. I think it's fair to say that his first run in Cape Town was, on paper, singularly disappointing. But perhaps you can explain to us exactly what you expected and what you are expecting on Saturday.
Well, you know, you go down for the ready to run just because the amount of money that you're racing for, and especially in these times where you're battling to get a Group 1 for a million rand. You know, it's big money, and you take your chances no matter what. He never had the draw. I was fortunate enough to have Muzieni on him at the time, and there was a false start. In the first start, he got an absolute flyer, and everything was basically going to plan, but it was a false start. And the second jump was different, obviously, and it was a poor showing. I elected to give him a break after that and just, you know, give him time in Cape to freshen up. And it's just a comeback run. Hopefully that will bring him on for the Joburg season to come. So there's no major expectation, but there was just no point sending the horse straight back after that type of experience. I decided to just let him enjoy the weather in the Cape, which he has benefited from. And yeah, we're preparing him for Joburg, basically, to be honest.
Well, Sean, there's always so much to talk about, but I know you're a busy man. I know you're a very dedicated family man. I just want to say thank you very much for availing us of your time, and hopefully look forward to seeing you in Cape Town on Saturday, the 30th of January.
Yeah, well, I'll be there no matter what. Let's just hope it goes well.
Yeah, you'll definitely be there. I'm crossing fingers that maybe I'm lucky enough to be there, but come rain, come shine, it's going to be a great day, as it always is at the end of January.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Looking forward to it. And, you know, Cape Racing have done very well in this time to pull things together. Their sponsorships have come to the party. And obviously there's a lot happening in Cape Town at the moment in Cape Racing. And I wish them well, and I wish they continue on the right track.
I must admit, I've heard nothing but huge compliments for the production that they produced on Lormeran's Queen's Plate Day, with the technology that they harnessed, the new camera angles. It really was top draw in my book.
Yes, and you know, I have complimented that race day and that festival a number of times. But even beyond that that race day, the Cape season is definitely they seem to be more focused, and I'm very happy with what they've achieved thus far.
Mr. Sean Terry, champion trainer of South Africa, thank you for joining us. Have a lovely evening and travel safe.
Thanks, Andrew. It was a pleasure.